Next on the news, he was called to serve our country, but in a war zone, this soldier heard another calling.
Even in that chaos, God is still there.
There are fewer chaplains in the military, but one priest says that's not because there are fewer vocations. The National Eucharistic Pilgrimage continues. We check in with one of the dozens of young people traveling around the country to Indianapolis. Plus, Brooklyn parishioners are answering a call from Pope Francis.
Here in Bay Ridge at St. Andrew the Apostle Church, parishioners are following the words of the Holy Father, making the space around the church greener. I'm Katie Vasquez, and I'll have all the details coming up on Currents News.
I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now.
My religion, Roman Catholic.
He completed his mission, but something greater was waiting for him on the other side. This soldier was called to serve for God and country. During the height of the Iraq War, David Santos saw the worst of humanity. His time in the Army brought him closer to his faith in a way he didn't understand until he returned home. As Memorial Day approaches and we remember all those who made the ultimate sacrifice, he says serving God and serving country are not all that different. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has the story from Springfield, New Jersey.
To tear through anything that it hits, whether it's
this
metal,
jagged, heavy piece of metal shot out of an improvised explosive device designed to destroy.
It was a beautiful day. We're right by a river, and then all of a sudden, this just jolts you into reality.
David Santos has kept it all these years.
As a military vehicle passed by, they would detonate the explosives, and then shrapnel essentially would do the rest. That was their hope. My team was hit with two huge mortar round explosives.
The realities of doing intelligence for the 42nd Infantry Division of the United States Army during the height of the Iraq War made David think about what could be. When he got home, he enlisted again, this time in a different type of service. That was the first of a few close calls Father David had while deployed with his identical twin brother and other men who became his brothers. Today, as the pastor of St. James the Apostle Church in Springfield, New Jersey, Father David says being a priest is harder than any mission he was on in Iraq.
Priesthood, it's so varied, it's unpredictable.
What he learned in the military and in the seminary yielded similar results. He became a man built to serve. According to the Archdiocese for the Military Services, there are 1.8 million Catholics currently on active duty.
This would have been a projectile.
Today, when he holds this piece of shrapnel, he's reminded that life is fragile.
When you're in a situation where you're being shot at or blown up, you just realize how short life is. And even in that chaos, God is still there. My blood type, my religion, Roman Catholic.
As a soldier, he never lost sight of his faith, even in the fog of hatred. And now as a priest, his message to Catholics who feel forced to pick sides in today's global wars comes straight from the gospel.
I think that's the answer. I think it's a peace that comes from God and a relationship with Jesus. It helps us to see beyond ourselves, to see others the way that God sees them. We need a lot more of that.
In a red beret and a priest's collar, Father David leads with peace. In Springfield, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Both Father David and his twin brother went on to continue their lives of service. His brother now works in law enforcement. New numbers out now are showing there are fewer priests who are spiritually serving men and women in the military. According to the Archdiocese of Military Services, the number of active duty Catholic chaplains has dropped by half in the last 25 years. There are currently 190 priests serving, but back in 2001, there were over 400 chaplains helping the military. Currents News spoke to the vocations director for the Archdiocese of Military Service, Father Marcel Tayon, about the drop in chaplains. He says one reason for the drop is a greater need than most dioceses.
We have probably more vocations than most dioceses, but our need is probably 30 times larger. So it's sort of like we have a lot of activity and the quality of these men is excellent, but the need is so great it's beyond imagination.
Any Brooklyn priest who wants to become a military chaplain will have to apply through the diocese to do so. The National Eucharistic Pilgrimage is underway, and the pilgrims are headed to the Diocese of Brooklyn, making their way into the city on Memorial Day weekend. Here's how you can join the journey. The easiest spot to meet up with the pilgrims in Manhattan is at St. Patrick's Cathedral. They'll be at the landmark cathedral at 10 a.m. on Sunday, May 26th. From there, they'll eventually make their way to the Brooklyn Bridge, where the journey will be passed off into the Diocese of Brooklyn. The procession will head to the Co-Cathedral of St. Joseph for adoration and exposition of the Blessed Sacrament before another full day of stops throughout the diocese. From Brooklyn, the pilgrimage will travel through New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Ohio, and eventually end up in Indianapolis for the National Congress. Remember, this is just one of 4 routes traveling across the country to the Congress. Altogether, the pilgrims will be traveling 6,500 miles and passing through 65 dioceses. Currents News checked in with 1 of 24 pilgrims who are walking that entire journey to Indianapolis. Zoe Dongus works in the Office of Young Adult Outreach in the Archdiocese of New York and expected to spread her love of Christ along her journey. But she says she's getting inspired by those who have joined her along the way.
To get to see their hearts and see how much they love Jesus. There are people that are much older than me that are walking very far distances in the heat, all to proclaim that Jesus Christ is Lord and present in the Eucharist. So just to see their example and I'm really motivated and really, I want to imitate them and their love for Jesus.
To learn more about all things related to the National Eucharistic Pilgrimage and Congress, just go to eucharisticrevival.org. And remember, the tablet will have comprehensive coverage at thetablet.org. You don't want to miss anything. It's the first National Eucharistic Congress in nearly 90 years. On top of being a month to honor Mary, Catholics are also encouraged during May to find ways to help the planet. It's all part of a 2015 message penned by Pope Francis called Laudato Si. A ministry in Bay Ridge has been guided by that letter, finding new ways to improve the environment right in their own backyard. Currents News' Katie Vasquez was there as they sowed the seeds of their newest project at St. Andrew the Apostle Church.
Tom Hinchin and Lois Sealand are adding some native plants and flowers outside the parish house of St. Andrew the Apostle Church. The pair belong to the Care for Creation ministry at the Bay Ridge Church, which follows Pope Francis's encyclical Laudato Si, in which the pontiff declares the Catholic cause for protecting the planet based on Scripture.
Laudato Si has many aspects. So Pope Francis starts in what is the state of our common home, and it's not good.
You can just say, or give up on it, but you could say, no. There's something I can do about it.
The ministry decided to take advantage of the space outside the parish house after an accident.
We had a water main break here in this front yard. I had also had the idea, even before, about maybe we could do something with this area.
This year, during Laudato Si Week, the Brooklyn Church will dedicate a St. Kateri habitat named in honor of the patron saint of the environment.
Be kind to the earth and be kind to nature.
It must fulfill certain requirements laid out by the St. Kateri Conservation Center that blend ecology and religion.
No use of chemicals, planting things that are beautiful for people to appreciate, flowers that will attract pollinators, and then they also expect you to have a religious element.
The Care for Creation ministry has future plans to expand the habitat into this underutilized backyard space.
A couple years down the road, there'll be a lot less grass and more flowers.
Because for this Brooklyn church, caring for the environment is a year-round endeavor.
It's important that we just don't remember the earth on one day, that we remember it all year through, that it becomes part of the fabric of our lives.
Planting seeds for the future. In Bay Ridge, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
Anyone can create a St. Kateri habitat in a yard, school, or parish. To find out how, head to the St. Kateri Conservation Center website, kateri.org, and search under our work. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.